Welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker, here to try a tea, to show and tell about this tea, help you decide if this is the right tea for you. I could use my spoon, but sometimes it's easier just to use your hands, because you want to have clean hands that are free of any kind of fragrances from soaps or lotions or other. And so I'm scooping out enough here or drawing out enough here to cover the bottom inch to inch and a half diameter of my gaiwan. These are fairly large, bulky leaves, so that it can take up more than that fairly quickly, fairly easily. My water's been brought to an early boil, hasn't gotten to a full rolling boil, and I'm hopefully adding enough water. A little bit's going to rest above the rim of my lid. Yes, it does. As the heat kind of gets to that, it expands a little bit more. I'm going to get this kettle out of the way. Introduce this tea, let it steep a little bit. This is from Peony tea. This is a WuyiZhengyanRougui. Wuyi being the location, Rougui being the type of tea, and Zhengyan, Zheng here meaning authentic, core, genuine, kind of can carry that kind of concept. So there are different areas. So you have for Wuyi, especially for Wuyi types of teas from Wuyi Mountain, Wuyi Shan in Fujian province, you can get to the core, the original area, the traditional area where it started there on the mountain. You can have this kind of something called banyan halfway in between it, and then you can have, it gets further out. Zhengyan meaning where the original tea started, there in that core area. 40 grams, available for 60 Singapore dollars on Peony Tea's website. This is a spring 2013 harvest, and that is the introduction for this tea. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the components of the tea, the dry leaf, the wet leaf, the liquor, starting off here with the dry. Breathe into that, get a little heat, a little moisture in there, wakes up the aromas. You're getting toasty, sweet, kind of tart, tangy, roasted peach, sautéed peach maybe. So it's nice. It's got some sweetness. It's got some tanginess, tartness to it. Because of the size of these seeds, it's going to be a little bit more convenient to just pinch out a few. Grab a pinch, put them in my hand here, and what you see are bistre, that grayish, dark brown type of color that on these leaves, and it's fairly consistent and even in that color. You see these leaves are 2 inches, 3 inches in length. So these are more mature leaves. You're not going to expect to find needles and buds, and that's the traditional elements, characteristics that you see with Rougui Wuyi tea like this. Larger leaves, more mature leaves. Okay, so I'm going to get to pouring now. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm going to angle my lid over to the side so that I can pour smoothly. The air will come in through here as I pour, so it doesn't dribble out as much. Get a smoother, more even pour, like so. And yet the lip there, the opening that I'm creating, of course, the goal is to still make it small enough so that leaves don't flow through into your pitcher either. And that was good. So I don't have any leaves floating around in there. I'm going to set my liquor there to the side. Get now to the wet leaf here. Let me give this a shake. Loosen those leaves up a little bit. The toasty, the heat notes are coming out more, so it's got more of a deeper charcoal type of smell going on. Backing off of the charcoal, actually, it's somewhere like a toasted almond type of smell. So it's got some of the heat there. It's got some roastiness to it. It's got a little bit of a hint, a gentle kind of nutty, sweet, roasty, nutty kind of smell. Light on the sweet, but still. As it cools, though, the sweetness there, that tart tanginess kind of pops out again. So as it cools, it's starting to get a bit of a sweeter, roasted sweet smell. Again, this would be more like the roasted fruit element that discovered in the dry leaf there. Pulling out a few of these leaves, like this one, for example. This is a leaf portion. It's not the 100% complete leaf. You have blotches of oxidation taking place, some darker spots. Other parts of the leaf have lightened up to more of an olive drab type of color. We set that on the lid there. Pull out another leaf or two here. Another leaf portion here. Some of the edges a little bit ragged. Again, not fully intact leaves for the most part. Here's another leaf portion. Not some elasticities. This feels like it's going to tear more than stretch. So there's a little bit less elasticity in these particular leaves that I've pulled out here. But that takes care of that. I'm going to go on now to the actual liquor. I'm going to give this a spin so that steam kind of carries away from the sides there, and you can see more of that kind of light brown, amber brown type of color going on. We'll give that a pour and a smell here. Going back towards the sweet, toasty, almond, lightly sweet, nutty kind of smells there in the liquor. Nice and bright in the cup. Give it a taste here. Nice silken texture. Not a lot of astringency going on. The aromas, the taste, the flavors there. Gentle, soft, not too gentle, just soft, smooth, rounded. You get this initial pop of kind of roasty toastedness in the front as I'm swirling, splashing around. It travels up into my nose, so I can smell that, I can taste it. Yes, again. And so this is some of this is these elements here combine to create that kind of it is close to very close to a kind of cinnamon-like element there. Not your excessively over the top ground cinnamon, but a piece of cinnamon bark that you're smelling, that you're tasting, where those flavors, those components come out a little more gently. Aftertaste. I'm still getting this nice, smooth, kind of silken feel especially on the top of my tongue. A little bit of a roasty element still residing in the back of my throat here. This is the kind of tea, off-camera steepings. As the temperature falls just a little bit more, it can start to get a little bit more pronounced, a little bit more in that flavor component, a little more extended. You're starting to get at the very back but top of my throat there. It hasn't sunk down lower yet, right around just above my Adam's apple yet. Okay, well, I got to give this one more as it's kind of cooled off here. Quick sip. Yes, as it's cooled, the texture has just gotten thicker, richer. The sweetness, that toasty, roasted nut kind of sweetness, now starting to kind of build and curl underneath under the back of my tongue, around my jaw area, and so it's get this kind of mouth watery. I've just eaten a date, a roasted date kind of sweetness, maybe even a little bit of tanginess building up in there. So looking at this tea overall, nice, warm, rounded, again, soft, yet complex elements there. So what I have to give this one a fairly high score. I would give this one a, I'm tempted to somewhere in that 92, 93 area. So I'm gonna go with 92. Nice, rich components, some a good representation of Rougui teas, Wuyi Mountain kind of teas, something that you want to explore, especially if you've never had one before. So come back to Walker Tea Review to find those new teas that you may be looking for and those old classics that you want to go back to as well.